Good morning. My name is Jennifer Russell, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm so happy to be with you this morning. Our interim minister, the Reverend Kevin DeBeck, is out of the pulpit this week. I am the Social Justice Governor, and we are here today with my leadership partner, Sierra Presberry, on Zoom, and our amazing worship team, Diana Kohler, Worship Associate, Alex Myers on the piano, Ken Hermanot, our music director, and our special guests, the Thomasick family. Today, we answer the call of renewing our commitment to the welcoming congregation. If you are a visitor here and would like us to stay in touch with you, please fill out the visitor form you will see in the chat box. The chat feature has been disabled except for chatting directly with the host. If you are having problems with Zoom, use the chat function or raise your hand function in Zoom. You're encouraged to change your pronouns on Zoom. To change your name, click on the Participants button at the top of the Zoom window. And next, hover your mouse over your name in the participants list on the right side of the Zoom window. Click on Rename. We're glad you're here.
Good morning, I'm Diana Kohler, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Our announcements this morning include a reminder that our gathering guidelines are based on the level of COVID in the area. And right now we are only allowing very small indoor gatherings here at Northwest until the level drops. And we'll let you know in advance when we're ready to resume services in the pulpit. Our October theme is cultivating relationship. And we cultivate relationships through our religious education program, which takes place outdoors. And today they're celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. And after the service, we have a virtual job fair, which is another way to make connections within the congregation. Next Sunday, the Reverend Kevin DeBeck will be preaching on the chosen families. The following Sunday will be a lay-led service on the deeper commitment to our principles. And then on Halloween, Reverend Kevin DeBeck will talk about waiting for the great pumpkin. This is Small Group Spirit Week. And it's an opportunity to connect with people in small group settings, and we have a lively lineup of people. It takes place on from 6 to 9 o'clock Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. Our second virtual service auction is coming up on Saturday, November 13th. Next Sunday is our deadline for items or events that you wish to submit. And you can donate by going to the link that you see here and on our website, I'm sure. We have a community nature hike taking place under the auspices of our youth programs, Sunday, October 24th at noon. A trunk or treat time at Northwest on Halloween at noon after the service. And you can talk to Eva Leventer, our Acting Director of Religious Education. Next Thursday, our board meets, and on Sunday, we will have our congregational meeting at noon. Please sign the quilt for Kimmy if you've not done so thus far. You can stop by the office Tuesday, Saturday, or Sunday between 10 and 2 p.m. to add your signature. There is a fall retreat coming up for women on Friday through Sunday, November 5th through 7th at the Proud Lake State Recreation Area. You can talk to Amanda Spurrell about specifics for the event. We have a special plate collection for South Oakland Shelter, which works with homeless people to help them develop more stability in their lives. You can text your gift for the South Oakland Shelter, send a check to the church. In October, we are sharing 50% of our regular plate collection with Oakland Forward. Their mission is to build power and remove economic, racial, and social barriers to provide opportunities for people with a special focus on people of color in Oakland County. You can again text to give or send a check to the church. And we're going to hear from their executive director from Oakland Forward in just a second. We're not going to be hearing from him this week. We'll look forward to hearing that next week. And now Jennifer will light our chalice.
The words for our chalice lighting this morning, Living with Pride by Reverend Lori Gorgas Laban. We light our chalice flame for those who live their lives in closets of shame, for those who furtively visited the bars where nobody knew your name, for the Stonewall riot and the fierce trans women who fought, for the plague which still takes far too many, too young, too soon. So many gone, so many never lived to see out gay kids singing on TV, out gay people serving in the military, marriage equality, families formed by intention. We light our chalice flame for all these and for all our siblings of the rainbow, surviving, living life out in the open with pride.
Tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day, and today we acknowledge that Northwest Unitarian Universalist Church sits on the traditional lands and territory of the Anishinaabe people, also known as the Three Fires of the Confederacy, comprising the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi. For millennia, this land has served as an important and sacred place for these tribes and many other tribes throughout our region. Today and every day, we acknowledge the peoples native to this land and the land itself. It is this congregation's responsibility as a religious community to respectfully discuss and educate ourselves about the traditional people of this land and their past and current hardships. Our intent is always to educate and enlighten, never to accuse or blame.
Good morning. I'll be reading Wholeness by Reverend Sharon Wiley. We speak so often of brokenness in religious life. Let us speak today of wholeness. You are welcome here, all of you. Every part of you beautiful just the way you are. Here, you do not need to be something more or something less. No holding back, no hiding, no exerting yourself, no trying to do more or be more. You have inherent worth and dignity. Nothing to prove here. Nothing to prove to me or the person sitting next to you or to the children or to anyone. You don't have to try and be witty or more quiet or more outgoing. You are beautiful. Every part of you beautiful just the way you are. You do not need to change anything about yourself to be welcome here. Your skin, your hair, your belly, your limbs, your face, all beautiful just the way they are. You are extraordinary. Each and every one of you different from each and beautiful in your own beautiful way. Breathtaking. Let us worship together. Next, we'll hear hymn 1053 from Singing the Living Tradition, How Could Anyone?
How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice
Turkey's Gift to People by Ani Bruki, based upon a traditional Navajo folktale. Once there was a time when all the people of the world lived and worked together in perfect harmony. One day during this time, Crow was exploring far from home. It was a beautiful day. To the east, he saw the sun shining on the hills. To the south, he saw the wind blowing gently through the grasses. To the west, he saw the cool water dripping from the mountain tops to the streams below. Crow headed north, flying further and further. Suddenly, he saw something he had never seen before on the horizon. It was a great wall of water, taller than any tree and wider than any river, and it was headed right toward his people and his homeland. Quickly, Crow turned and flew toward home, calling to the others along the way to warn them of the great wall of water that would soon flood their low, flat land. The people gathered and listened to Crow. They began to worry. Bear said, "We must move to higher ground." "But the mountains are too far away," said Butterfly. "They must go to the hills," decided Bear. The people agreed. "We must go to the hills and wait there for the water to recede." When they finally reached the hilltops, they looked toward the wall of water far from the distance. The people discovered it was much larger than they had imagined. These hills were not high enough to protect them. Then Mouse stepped forward. "I have an idea. These giant reeds are hollow, and their inside chambers are bigger than any cave. If we get inside, we can wait there until the water passes." Beaver knew this was her job. She began to make an opening at the base of the reed. People could get inside. When Beaver finished, people began to file into the reed, 2 by 2. But very quickly, the chamber became crowded, and the people realized this single chamber would not hold them all. "Beaver," said Moose, "climb onto my back and chew a hole through the chamber above." Beaver climbed onto Moose's back, but she could not reach the top of the chamber. "Wait," said Spider. "I will weave a strong web for Beaver to climb so she can reach the top." When Spider finished, Beaver climbed the web and chewed a hole through to the next chamber. In this way, Beaver and Spider worked together to open chamber after chamber. The people followed them, moving further and further up the reed until everyone was inside. But Ground Squirrel was keeping track of everyone entered through, and by his tally, one couple was missing. "Where are Mr. and Mrs. Turkey?" he shouted. People searched all the chambers of the giant reed, but the couple was nowhere to be found. Giant Squirrel stepped outside and looked anxiously toward the approaching wall of water. Eagle knew he could help, so he swooped down out of the reed and circled high into the sky in search of his friends. Almost immediately, he spotted them, running as fast as their short legs could carry them, just in front of the flood waters. "Hurry!" shouted Eagle. "Come on, you can make it!" It seemed like forever, but finally the couple flopped through the entrance to the reed, puffing and panting and gobbling. Everyone crowded around them, while Wasp quickly sealed the opening so no water could get inside. The waters washed over the hillside, but the people were safe inside the reed. People blurted out, "What happened? Where were you? You could have been killed." But Mr. and Mrs. Turkey still tried to catch their breath. Finally, Mr. Turkey stood up and spoke. "We forgot the seeds," he exclaimed. Then he spread his feathers, letting the thousands of seeds that he and his wife had collected fall to the ground. The seeds that the people would need to rebuild and survive after the waters receded. All the people cheered. Each of them had helped in his own way, but it was Turkey who remembered the seeds.
Good morning. My name is Michael Brown. My pronouns are he, him. While I am no longer an active member of Northwest Unitarian Universalist Church, I consider myself one of the church's biggest fans. That's because the community at Northwest was there for me when I was coming out of the closet as gay many years ago. I joined Northwest in 2003 when I was in college and seeking a religious community that welcomed me as I was. I was a confused young man. I was living in a blue-collar environment that told me in so many ways that the way that divine creation made me was wrong, was evil, was flawed. And I was having a lot of problems finding a way to live as my authentic self. Northwest was my first church home. Growing up without any organized religion in my life, I was unsure of what to expect that first morning when I arrived at Northwest. And I connected with people there, slowly and sometimes awkwardly. But I kept coming. And I kept trusting in the idea of what many call beloved community. It's the people of a church who matter. And I blinked, and 18 years have passed. I'm married to a man. I live a happy life. My heart has grown. My soul has deepened, thanks to the support I received in those years at Northwest. Northwest had such a profound impact on me that I eventually attended seminary to become a Unitarian Universalist minister. I was so inspired by the love that I felt in that place that I wanted to spread the good news to others. I work as a chaplain in home hospice, many times encountering people who are LGBTQ, who are dying. I do what I can to make them sure that they know that they are loved and accepted as they are. 2021 is a much different environment for cisgender gay men than 2003. For many of us, we have been accepted by the larger world. Now, the challenge is ensuring that our trans and non-binary siblings are welcomed in the world as we are. In my experience and in my conversations with my trans and non-binary friends, I believe that trans and non-binary rights are at the stage where gay rights were back in the 1970s and 80s. Talk to any cisgendered white gay male about that time, and you will hear stories about how challenging and frightening those times were. Northwest is a place of inclusion and acceptance. Northwest is a place that I will always consider my church home. I encourage people in that community to realize how important it is to be radically welcoming. I encourage people to remember that it's okay not to understand everyone's situation, and it's okay to accept them regardless of where they are in their spirits and in their journey. Northwest is a place of inclusion. Northwest is a place of love. And Northwest is a place that I believe continues to set an example for other intentional communities. I'm grateful for the connections that I still have there. I'm grateful for how I grew there. And I'm grateful to continue to grow with that community as my guide. Thanks for listening.
gardens of grace, in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Whatever. Hey, Alex. Jennifer's muted.
Years ago, trans and non-binary people in our congregations, our poly families, have told us that within our faith, they have felt invisible and not always safe. If we are going to live our values in this world, then change must begin and continue in our hearts and in our congregations. As we explore the 5 practices of welcoming renewal, I invite you to reflect on how we can create an intersectional, inclusive, and affirming space that truly creates a sense of beloved community. When our congregation made a commitment to embrace and adopt the 8th principle, we started the hard work. It isn't a shingle to hang on our doorstep, rather the foundation to the building, and we are the ones who construct it. So is the case with welcoming renewal, and there is opportunity to find paths where these justice issues cross. We know, for example, that it was a Black trans woman, Marsha P. Johnson, whose bravery and sacrifice was the spark to the Pride movement. And yet still today, the average lifespan of a Black trans woman is 35 years, more than 40 years less than a cisgender white woman like me. When my dear friend transitioned to she, and then to they, and then to him, I had to examine my own awkwardness about it. I knew that I, with a full heart, supported him, but it wouldn't be honest with me to say that I didn't have some discomfort around it. I sat in that space for a while, still loving my friend, but feeling confused, until I realized that I can't say I love this person wholly if I can't love this person as he is, where he is. So where are you in this process? Close your eyes and take inventory, a few moments of reflection. What will you do when someone you love comes out to you as trans or non-binary? As someone who is in a poly family? If you are someone struggling with your identity, know that you are loved and accepted here. Breathe deeply. Inhale. Exhale. Be who you are, where you are. We can and must put in the work, some of which we already do. Our roadmap is the 5 practices of renewal, as outlined to us by the UUA. Becoming a welcoming congregation is the expectation of every Unitarian Universalist congregation. We have been a welcoming congregation since the early 2000s. The second practice of welcome renewal is incorporating welcoming worship services into our ordinary calendar of worship every year. The third practice is an annual recognition and celebration of the welcoming days of observance. These days and seasons are important to LGBTQ+, TGQNB communities because they bring visibility and affirmation after generations of invisibility and erasure. These days remind us all that all of who you are is sacred, all of who you are is whole and welcome. The fourth practice is an annual opportunity for our congregation to experience a welcoming congregation module. A WC module is a Unitarian Universalist Association approved seminar or webinar. Each year, the Multicultural Ministries Office will offer at least one welcoming webinar that engages these communities' issues and topics. We may register for a webinar, or we may choose to sponsor a local seminar for its local congregation and community. The fifth practice of welcome renewal is to support a welcoming project. Welcoming congregations give generously of gifts and resources. To remain current, we may donate a sizable donation to a local and national organization, campaign, or project that uplifts the dignity of LGBTQ and TGQNB communities. This morning, I've invited people who are already in our community to talk about what welcoming renewal will mean for them. Dan and Rachel and their children have been among us for a few years now, but not everyone knows their story. It's theirs to tell, and I ask that you receive their experience with a loving heart and a welcoming spirit.
Good morning. We haven't seen most of you for a while, and it's really nice to be back. We joined the church, I think, late 2018, which both seems like yesterday and at the same time like 100 years ago. And you've always made us feel so seen and welcome. Some of you may know, and some of you may not, but the adults in our household practice polyamory. Polyamory is the idea that romantic love can be shared between more than two people. We believe that we have love to share with as many people as can love us back. Everyone has their own experiences and ideas that shape them. And because of this, everyone is unique. My wife, Rachel, and I began our poly lifestyle about 10 years ago after we'd been together for a few years. We had come into a discussion about relationships and the idea that every single person is unique and that would have, they'd have unique offerings to any personal relationship. We came to the idea of why should we limit ourselves to loving and being with just one person? Everyone has something unique to offer, and because of this, everyone has something unique to bring to a relationship. For example, what if my wife, Rachel, falls in love with someone, again, for example, her boyfriend, Austin? Why does that mean she loves me any less? We decided that we might look into this idea a little bit more and found out there was an entire community of people with similar ideas, and there just about always has been. So we decided to pursue this lifestyle, secure in our love for each other and in full support of each other finding love and sharing it with others. This lifestyle can be challenging at first, especially, and it involves a lot of communication and support between partners, especially coming from a monogamous relationship that had been established for many years. And the idea that we grew up with, that monogamy was really the only way. And it's very challenging to go against such well-established social norms. Almost everyone has their own way of living polyamory, but as long as all participants are giving enthusiastic consent, none of them are incorrect. But this is our life and our love, and I'm so happy to be able to share myself and my love with whoever fits into our lives. I love my wife, Rachel, and I love my metamour, Austin. Thank you for seeing us and loving us the way we are. And we're so very grateful for you because we've always felt so seen and supported in this community. It's been a huge relief to be able to come to a community and an organization and so many people who just give us love and acceptance and make us feel so at home and like we don't have to defend ourselves and we don't have to fight to exist or fight to live how we live or fight to show the love for who we love. I really appreciate that, and I'd like to extend my thanks to you. Moving forward, I think we are going to hear hymn 1028, The Fire of Commitment.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then fulfillment, and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Closing words today are from James Baldwin from his book, The Fire Next Time. Love takes off the masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within. I use the word love here not merely in the personal sense, but as a state of being or a state of grace, not in the infantile American sense of being made happy, but in the tough and universal sense of quest and daring and growth.